So today we're going to do number 30. We're going to do a mesial slot prep summit design. So again, just like your regular amalgams, you very carefully go in here and just track back and forth, just shy of your ideal outline. And just go back and forth, just like you do with your standard class 2 prep. Basically a slot design is just basically doing an amalgam prep, but doing the box area only. Again, I lift this burr up to smooth that facial wall, go back and forth, making sure my floor is nice and even. Just use a very light touch by moving my burr very quickly and rapidly. And then if I want to smooth this really well, I slow my burr and stop it, but keep moving my handpiece. So now we'll blow this through. And I cannot see that little window at all. So that means I need to go deeper until I get separation. Now I'm going to go down further. This comes up, lifts up a little bit. Smooth that facial wall and the lingual wall. Now what's really important when you're doing the slot prep with the summit design, which is what they want on the rebs, is you need to make your extensions very conservative. So here, I'm going to blow this dry here. And as you can see, approximately here, this explorer tip goes up through underneath. And now I can break away this little flash of enamel. You just see it flake off with my explorer. I get my explorer tip. The tip cannot go through the gingival floor here. See? The tip can't go down quite enough. That means that I need to go down further in my gingival floor. So I gotta lower the gingival floor. Remember, the gingival floor has to be the first floor that's finished to ideal. So I go back in here. And now my gingival floor has the separation that I need. I get this underneath here. See, the tip of the explorer goes through. Now look at my lingual extension. Looks like if I plane away this little triangular area here and get rid of this undermined enamel, I have a perfectly straight contour that comes out to my extension. Again, my facial seems to be a little short, so I gotta go and extend my facial. So I put this down to the gingival floor, come facially and lift up. As I lift up, it removes some of the facial wall without hitting the adjacent tooth, and leaves a little sliver of enamel there that's undermined. As you can see, that little sliver right there. So the next thing I'll do now, I think my gingival floor is okay. So I get my hatchet, I lean this in, figure out my angle of departure, and just cut down with the hatchet without removing injuring the adjacent tooth. Do the same thing on the lingual. Again, my extensions are going to be minimal, but pretty close to ideal. Making sure I keep this at a 90 degrees. What's really important is that the lingual wall and the facial wall be opposable. They be close to each other in terms of opposing one another. As you can see, my axial wall is a little bit rough, so now I'm going to switch to a different burr. So now that the burr I'm going to be using is again a 330 diamond. If this is a premolar and it's very small, I would use a 245 burr, a carbide burr, because it's a smaller diameter. But since this is a molar, we can go in here, and we do not push against the other tooth, obviously, because we'll cut it. We're only doing the inner part of our prep. So we're doing the lingual wall right now and the gingival floor at the same time. And now I'm doing the axial wall, making sure my hand is going the slight curving motion to match the profile of the axial wall. And now I'm doing the facial wall. So I'm stopping short of hitting the other tooth. So there, I finished the preparation. It's all refined and done. Okay, so that's it there. The next part we have to do is we need to make our retention grooves. If you're doing retention grooves, we normally get a 1/4 round burr, and we'll go in here, and then we'll go cut across the lingual wall. Now, you want to be careful that when you cut your lingual retention groove, that you don't cut it just straight across. Remember, your DEJ is curved here. So this is an extension of your DEJ, which means that you may go lingually but slightly axially here. Okay? And what we do is we go in like we normally do to make our retention groove, the 1/4 round burr, but instead of stopping, we come all the way up. So I made a few swipes, and if you look really closely, you can see there's a little opening here. That's a dovetail design. And this is called the summit prep, and this is what they want you to do in the revs. Again, we'll go over here, and remember, it doesn't go straight across, otherwise we'd undermine this enamel. If we go to a slight angle, make a few small swipes, they're 1/4 round burr, and we made an internal retention groove that comes all the way up to the cable surface. So this is called the summit design, and this is the slot prep summit design that they want on the revs. Again, the features are the gingival floor is flat and smooth. It could have a small downslope to where the gingival floor is sloping just slightly down. The angle of departure here is at 90 degrees and flat and opposable to the adjacent wall, the facial wall, which is also flat, has a 1/2 millimeter separation, and we have an internal retention groove that comes all the way up the cable surface and changes the outline. The axial wall is smooth, follows the contour of the DEJ, and our gingival floor is a 1/2 millimeter separation. So that's the summit design.